National Geographic magazine has dubbed our next guest an emerging explorer, a risk taker. University of Utah Assistant Professor Sekercioglu,
Perfect.
which I understand means son of Candyman, and his world is the candy store right now. He's featured in the May issue now. Some are calling him the conservation ecologist that is like Indiana Jones.
All right.
Unfortunately, he didn't bring his whip today.
And I'm just going to say your first name, Chan. Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
So what was your reaction when you heard you were one of these 22 risk takers that are being featured in National Geographic?
It was shock. I thought they were pulling my leg, but you know, it's. I got an email from Susan Welchman of National Geographic with the right address, and it was a huge honor to be in the company of people like James Cameron and Felix Baumgartner and Dr. Sylvia Earle. And that National Geographic has been very supportive of my research and conservation work through the years. So.
And just to give you a better idea of Chan's background, he's from Turkey, educated at Harvard and Stanford, and has spent a lot of time in the field. And that's what we want to talk about today, some of your experiences in the field. Tell us, first of all, what in the world happened in Costa Rica?
Yeah, Costa Rica is where I did my PhD and postdoc studying birds in Las Cruces Forest. It's one of the safest places on the planet. As usual, bad luck, bad timing, and misunderstanding. I was
Something about a mob attacking you?
Yeah, it was a little mob with my friend ornithologist.
A little mob.
Yeah, only about a dozen people. My friend Jim Zook, a top ornithologist in Costa Rica, we were looking for the Pacific screech owl at night in Guanacaste under a tree with flashlights. But it turns out we were under some cables that were stolen 2 weeks earlier, and they thought the thieves had come back. And they shot first, asked questions later.
Whoa.
Our windshield exploded. Actually, they hurled rocks. And literally, pitch dark, came out with sticks and machetes. My poor friend Jim got his hand slashed open, 14 stitches.
No.
I managed to run through some barbed wire and then had to come back for him. And thankfully, I was okay, but I still feel horrible about Jim to this day. But we did see the owl afterwards through a destroyed windshield.
So it was worth the sacrifice?
No.
No.
Okay, so we talked about this mob, but you've also had some crazy stories, including elephants and a carjacker. You've been all over the world. Tell us about some of these crazy stories.
Yeah, I was on all continents by the time I was 22.
Wow.
Partially because my mom worked for Turkish Airlines. I had free tickets. So I've been to about 70 countries, and I'm in the field a lot. I like wildlife. I do a lot of conservation. I try to conserve biodiversity. But, when you're in the field a lot, stuff happens. When I worked in Alaska, a grizzly charged us. We didn't shoot it, fortunately. By shooting, it turned away. Elephant, again, in Tanzania, same thing. I was in its personal space. In Ethiopia, off our tribesmen carjacked us, but, we gave them some money. They went away. 30 years ago, they would have castrated me on the spot.
Wow, that would not be fun at all.
So I got lucky.
Okay, and you've seen 55% of the planet's birds, 70 different countries. Is there one bird in particular that was your best sighting?
Yeah, it's now 61%.
Wow.
So about 6,100 species. Cassowary, all three species, but I've only seen the southern cassowary, which is the only bird that can disembowel a human being.
Whoa.
It acts like a velociraptor, jumping and slashing with 6-inch claws if cornered. So again, I studied it, I followed it, I took photos. I even shot it with a paintball gun to mark it. It was not hurting it, and it still, didn't attack me. And it's a fantastic animal, 5 foot tall, jet black feathers, blue and red, and with a big casque to push through understory.
I think now we understand better why you're called risk taker.
Right?
Well, calculated risk taker.
So you said earlier that you never seek out the danger, you never seek out these confrontations, these sticky situations, right. But they just happen, as a matter of course, in the field.
Right. Well, I don't avoid them if I think, I have a good chance. And sometimes for research, you just have to take that risk. Otherwise, that's what it takes to explore and find out new things about science in little explored corners of the planet, and also try to do conservation. The biggest risk is really people, both for me physically, traffic, and also for conservation. I mean, my study site in eastern Turkey, Aras River wetlands, is now under risk of being destroyed by a dam, and it's eastern Turkey's richest wetland for birds with most of country's species.
And it'll be inundated by the reservoir that backs up behind the dam.
It will be inundated by 150 feet of water. It will destroy the whole area and 3 villages and 2,000 people's homes. So humans are unfortunately the biggest risk.
Well, you just actually got back from London. You got a pretty big award while you were there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was honored by the Whitley Fund and Princess Anne, who's their patron. So I had won the Whitley Gold Award in 2008. So for their 20th anniversary this year, they decided to give a special gold award to a winner from all past 167 winners. And they were very kind to choose me for basically putting Turkey on the conservation map. So it was a lot of fanfare, and I was pretty nervous, I have to say.
More nervous than paintballing a
cassowary.
Killer bird.
Kill a bird with
Actually, I was.
Okay.
I was. My knee was wobbling at some point, and that doesn't happen in the field.
Okay.
Well, we want to thank you so much for stopping by today and telling us your great stories, and congratulations on all these awards you've been given.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
expect great things to come.
I'll do my best.
And our 5 o'clock news is coming up next, so stay with us.